Hello mga kapolgovers, nandito ulit si Teacher Nick upang magbigay sa inyo ng makabuluhang impormasyon tungkol sa mga nangyayari sa ating kapaligiran, most especially in a Philippine setting. No, today and of course for the last 2 months are some places are under ECQ or enhanced community quarantine, and some are modified, no, enhanced quarantine, and some are in general GCQ or general community quarantine, no? So that's the part of the government now. Without further anything else, we will be tackling about the most important thing is the franchise. All right, the franchise. This episode, no, entitled episode 4 on legal matters, understanding the roles of House of Representative, Solicitor General, and the Philippine Supreme Court on franchising. All right, so this is more on academic matters. No, I'm not favoring something or against, pro or cons. I'm just stating the facts, what is the legal matters, what the Constitution tells us, and of course how actually we understand, no, the roles of each office. Okay, so now let's start. Again, the role, no, of these offices, most especially House of Representative, the distinct, no, department in our government system. We have 3 branches in the government, which are legislative, executive, and judicial department, and that is under our 1987 Constitution. And on the other hand, we have what we call office of the Solicitor General, and as I heard different news that it is, I think some opinions, Solicitor General or the office of the Solicitor General is the most powerful office, no, in our country. And of course the last resort, which is the Supreme Court, which is under judicial department. So let's tackle one by one to understand, to give explanation on how to understand these 3 distinct office. Let's start with the House of Representatives. We will direct to the point, no, franchise law, kasi there are some issues that ang House of Representatives are not allowed to give provisional franchise to the no, this big company, almost 65 years, no, ABS-CBN. So ayun, sabi ng mga netizens natin, they're not allowed to give provisional franchise because you need to have an existing franchise that is under the law, and that is actually in the procedure of National Telecommunication Commission. By the way, why I'm not including National Telecommunication Commission, because I think their part is they're doing their part. No, I am just stating the fact that who is the most powerful office that can give franchise. Ayan. So kasi marami na, nagkakaroon na tayo ng mixed opinion, nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na yung kumbaga yung opinion natin ay masyadong politika, no? There are some saying that ABS-CBN, it's a political question. Sabi naman constitutional question, because I think last month, no, sorry, so last month I think the office of the Solicitor General filed co-warrant petition against ABS-CBN not to continue the franchise that was up to March 30, and now it is extended, no, up to March 5. All right, but as you heard the news, the ABS-CBN Broadcasting Company decided to shut it down, their broadcasting. You know, bigyan ko na kayo ng kumbaga paunang, no, information that in episode 5 we will discuss about freedom of speech and of the press. All right, but anyways, no, let's start. First point is House of Representative, the sole department who can actually give or grant no, franchise. According to tingnan natin ang may waga kong libro. Okay, so while we waiting, sabi ng may waga kong libro, syempre may libro ko ay Philippine Constitution, no? Article 6, Legislative Department, Section 26. Alright? Section 24 rather. All appropriations, revenue, or tariff bills authorizing increase of the public debt, bills of local application, and private bills shall originate exclusively in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendment. So it means to say that when you actually filing bills, it will always start to the House of Representative. Hindi pwedeng magsalita or let's say magkumilos ang House of the Senate if there is no first, second, third reading in the House of Representatives. And after under section 24 paragraph 6, private bill. Okay, ito ngayon yung binabatong issue kay Speaker of the House Alan Peter Cayetano, that the question is why he has the power to propose bill, provisional authority or franchise, no? Pero sabi sa paragraph 6, private bill, one affecting purely private interests, such as one granting a franchise to a person or corporation, or compensation to a person for damages suffered by him for whom the government considers itself liable. I think the action of the Speaker of the House ay ito yung basihan niya, private bill, no? Na well, we all know that Speaker of the House is lawyer itself, no? Isa siyang abogado, kaya hindi siya agad-agad magdedeklara ng ganun. Meron palang nakasulat sa batas, constitutional, fundamental, that the Congress, most especially the House of Representative, no, one affecting purely private interest, such as one granting a franchise to a person, corporation, or compensation to a person for damages suffered by him for whom the government considers itself liable. Liable na ang House of Representative. Meron ng damage na nangyari, no? Kasi we all know the fact that nag-file na, no, ng renewal ang ABS-CBN. Meron pa nagsabi binawi, tapos pinail ulit, nagkaroon ng maraming revisions. But the point is, merong damage na nangyari. So liable na ngayon ang House of Representatives. What is the action of House of Representatives? According to private bill, paragraph 6, pwede, no? Pwede siyang propose ng bill. But the question is that bill is correct? Yung provisional franchise? Kasi sabi ng mga ex-justices, let me quote Justice Carpio and Justice Tiham, mga retired justices na to, that you cannot actually give provisional franchise, no, to extend the operation of a company or corporation if there is no existing law. Napakaipid po ng batas. When we apply the principle of dura lex sed lex, the law is harsh but that is a law, ay maigpit po ang application ng batas, lalo-lalo na kung fundamental. That is why it is a pressuring time or moment to the House of Representatives to propose a bill in this time of crisis. No, yun lang ang they cited private bill, and that is under section 24, no? Yan ang pinaka ginawa na lang ng House of Representatives. Of course, you cannot actually say that that is a proposed bill because kailangan dumaan ito sa first, second, third reading, and then ipapasa sa Senate, then ulit first, second, third reading, then joint session, and then kapag nagkaroon na ng, I think ang botohan ay 2/3, no, of Congress, isesend na sa President, and the President will decide because we all know the fact that that is a law. Now, punta tayo sa ginawa ng Solicitor General, no? Nakakabilib ito si current Solicitor General Jose Calida, no? In all his cases, he won all the cases, no? And that is a fact. no? And that is written in our history. Now, the question is, what is the mandate? What is the constitutional mandate of the office of the Solicitor General, no? Based on my research, all right. It's loading. All right. What is the role of the Solicitor General? There is no question if the Solicitor General filed any petition, any cases to the Supreme Court, because that is the job of Solicitor General. Kasi pag hindi yan nagpa-file ng case kapag merong political question or constitutional question, papagalitan siya ng executive department. Hindi niya ginagawang trabaho niya. Sabi nga, trabaho lang, walang personalan. That's the I think common language pagdating sa application ng kanilang trabaho. Now, the mandate, okay? The question is, what exactly is the role of the office of the Solicitor General? Let me read. The OSG is an independent and autonomous body attached to the Department of Justice. It is headed by the Solicitor General, similar to how a lawyer represents a person in a court and give advice on legal matters. The Office of the Solicitor General represents the people of the Philippines, the Philippine government, its agencies, and instrumentalities, officials, and agents before Supreme Court and Court of Appeals, no? That is the mandate of the Constitution. So, we cannot do anything if the Solicitor General file a case or petition before the Supreme Court, because that is the mandate of the Constitution. Now, the question is there any abuse of discretion, abuse of power, no, on the side of the Solicitor General? I don't think so. Based on my analysis and my opinion, no, as a social science teacher, I don't see any grave abuse of discretion. Because why? Because the Supreme Court is not actually taking action to all the petition of the Supreme Court against the ABS-CBN. Wala pang nagaganap na hearing. Una, nag-file ng co-warranto to stop, no, the operation of the ABS-CBN. And second is the legal team of the ABS-CBN file a case, no, TRO, temporary restraining order, no, to stop the decision, cease and desist order of the NTC. Ngayon, ang Solicitor General is actually doing their job, filing a case. At least, why? Bakit kailangan niya mag-file? He represent the people. Kaya nga kapag may case ang Solicitor General, laging nangyayari, people of the Philippines versus ganitong tao. That's what happened in Sereno case. Alright? Whether we like it or not, ako, personally, I am not in favor to the process, but that is a strategy. Sabi nga ng Professor Dean ng UP College of Law na si Professor Daroy, that is a legal strategy of the Solicitor General. So we cannot do anything about it. Let's accept the fact and let's have faith on the decisions of the Supreme Court. Alright? That's the Supreme Court. Okay. So, alam na po natin ang mandate ng Solicitor General. So, we cannot do about it. It's up to the Supreme Court to what? To hear the case. No? To conduct oral arguments. And I am fan of oral arguments of the Supreme Court. I learn a lot of things on that oral arguments. Okay? That's why sabi ko sa title, on legal matters lang tayo. Alright? Okay, so that mandate of the Office of the Solicitor General can be found in Book 4, Title 3, Chapter 12 of the 1987 Administrative Code. In summary, it has the following official powers and functions. So, napakarami po ditong functions, no? Pero pipili po tayo na related, no, sa franchising. Okay? Ito, represent the Republic and or the people in any court, tribunal, body, or commission in any matter, action, or proceeding that in the OSG's opinion affects the welfare of the people. Alright. So that's I think the application of the powers and role of the Solicitor General. Okay. So sabi ko nga, pending case, no? Ang pending na po ang petition sa Supreme Court. Now, the question is, what are the significant decisions of the Philippine Supreme Court in relation to franchising? All right? May tinatawag tayong jurisprudence. Ano ba yung mga jurisprudence ng Supreme Court, decision of the Supreme Court when it comes to franchising? Pag sinabi natin jurisprudence, for your information, it is the existing or basis decision of the Supreme Court that we can actually use, no, as a reference before we decide the case. No, hindi pwede mag-decide ang Supreme Court na walang desisyon na nauna na pwedeng gawing basis. Those are the same facts. Sabi nga ni late former Senator Miriam Defensor sa sabi ko, you cannot cite a decision of the Supreme Court if that is not the jurisprudence. Okay? That's pero meron pong mga decision of Supreme Court na tinatawag na pro hac vice. Pag sinabing pro hac vice, only in this case. You cannot cite this case in any hearing, in any trial. Just like what the case of Philippine Republic, or let's say people of the Republic of the Philippines versus Sereno. Okay, you cannot cite that case in any trial kasi that is a pro hac vice, only in this case. Now, let's see the significant decisions of the Supreme Court when it comes to franchising. Okay, para malinaw po sa atin na we cannot comment in this issue, lalo-lalo na involved ang malaking kumpanya. Kahit ako naman, no, I am a fan of watching different TV shows of ABS-CBN, but the point is, on legal matters tayo. Okay? So, let's have a decision, no, of the Supreme Court. Okay, let's wait. Okay, so ito ang significance. The significance of the decision written by Justice Renato Puno, no, who would become the Chief Justice in 2003, was emphasized in its very first paragraph and so relevant now. Relevant to ngayon, no, pagdating sa in the previous case, Soto and Cayetano squawks. I don't know what is the term squawks, and of course ABS-CBN franchise. No, for many years now there has been a pervading confusion in the state of affairs of the broadcast industry. Ayan, brought about by conflicting laws, decrees, executive orders, and other pronouncements promulgated during the martial law regime. Ayan, nakakita rin ako sa Twitter ng history repeat itself. 1972 tapos 2020 is the same event, no? Let me clarify this, no. Ito yung decision ng Supreme Court, significant decision. The question that has taken a long life is whether the operation of a radio or television station requires a congressional franchise. Ayan. The court shall now lay to rest the issue. It's a congressional matter. It's a congressional franchise. That is the role of the House of Representative. Kaya nga sinasabi ni Speaker of the House of Representative Cayetano, nape-pressure sila. Ang Congress ngayon ay nape-pressure because they have the big power about this kind of issue. No? Whether constitutional, political, it doesn't matter. As much as possible, the Congress, most especially the House of Representatives, know their role. Okay? It did lay to rest the issue after a long, exhaustive narration of the history of the government regulation of broadcast media and various authorities it had given in the past, such as National Telecommunications Commissions or NTC, to issue permits to operate, conditional permits, and the like, which had been complicated by martial law, which dissolved Congress. The Supreme Court concluded the call to dispense with the requisite legislative franchise must, however, be addressed to Congress. Yan ang sinasabi ko. As the lawmaker of the land, for the court's function is to interpret. Yes, alam ng courts. Kaya nga, if you look at the words, no, ng mga lawyers, na I think naman sabi ng ibang mga law practitioners na hindi pa ito didinggin ng Supreme Court kasi alam nila ang distinct power. Merong distinction. May power ang Congress. Hindi pwedeng hindi pwedeng i-encroach ng Supreme Court ang power ng House of Representative. Let me continue again. I'm just excited, no? And sabi ng the call to dispense with the requisite legislative branches must, however, be addressed to Congress as the lawmaker of the land of the court's function is to interpret and not to rewrite the law. Yan. Hindi pwedeng gumawa ng batas ang Supreme Court. Sila lang ang interpreter after the Congress create a law. As long as the law remains unchanged, the requirement of a franchise to operate a television station must be upheld. Ayan. Ano ba yung sinasabi rito? As long as the law remains unchanged. The franchise law. Now it is changed. Why? Because it expired. According to the procedure, if the franchise, kasi ang franchise naman ng broadcasting, ng mga broadcasting companies, that is just not like the same as the franchise in the automobile. Okay? The point is, if the franchise is expired, there is no existing franchise. Therefore, the Congress, most especially the House of Representatives, needs to create a new law. Kasi isasign nga yan ng President eh. Tama po ba? So it means to say na kahit I think kung aabot ito sa oral arguments, no, ng Supreme Court in any other aspect or in any other way, we cannot guarantee that the Supreme Court will give a franchise to the ABS-CBN because that is a congressional power. Okay, malinaw po ba? So we discussed Section 24, Paragraph 6, Private Bill that was used by House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano, and the filing of different petitions, no, by Solicitor General because that is a mandate of the Constitution. The third topic or the third issue is the significant decisions of the Philippine Supreme Court, which is during the tenure of former Chief Justice Renato Puno. Okay, so yan na, malinaw na, inisa-isa ko na yan so that you cannot comment agad-agad sa mga issue nito kasi may proseso lahat eh. Tungkol naman sa decision ng National Telecommunication, again, parang Solicitor General lang yan. Meron po silang sariling position. Meron din nga silang actually quasi-judicial court eh. Okay? That maybe the Supreme Court can question, no, their actions because sabi naman ng powers ng Supreme Court, they can question the lower courts. Okay? Included dyan ang quasi-judicial court ng National Telecommunication Commission. Alright? So again, on legal matters, understanding the roles of House of Representative, Solicitor General, and the Supreme Court on franchising. Okay, so malinaw po tayo dyan. That's why now it is pending. I don't think, sabi ng isang lawyer sa Twitter na nakausap ko, hindi pa ito sub judice rule. So pwede pang pag-usapan. Wala pang tinatawag na gag order. Alright? And I think apply yan sa lahat pala. Okay? So hindi pa yan sub judice rule because hindi pa tinatanggap ng Supreme Court. No? Kasi wala pa silang conduct ng ng hearing. Wala pang date. Alright? So, mga couple govers, I hope that you learned something. Let's stay safe. No? Wash your hand daily and eat good foods. Alright? We are now, please cooperate to the government because we are now under modified enhanced quarantine. Alright? And I hope, we pray na mapatuloy na itong paggaling ng mga may cases ng COVID-19, and I hope that it will end soon, no? So thank you so much mga kapulgovers. Please like the button, share and subscribe. All right, and if you have questions, clarifications, just comment down below to the comment section. All right, episode 4 on legal matters, understanding the roles of House of Representatives, Solicitor General, and the Supreme Court on franchising. So mga kapulgovers, goodbye!